everyone. How are you doing? 8th graders. I'm going to talk to you today about parallel lines cut by a transversal. I've already sent you and uploaded some videos explaining the relationships between the angles. Now I'm going to show you how to solve some questions in order that you practice some of them from your book and be able to answer the questions as we go through the lesson. Let's first remember some of the angle relationships that we have. We said that we have three types of relationships in this lesson that come out from the intersection of a transversal with two parallel lines. So this is a transversal and these two are the parallel lines that are cut by the transversal. These two parallel lines that intersect with the transversal, they form 8 angles. Angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These 8 angles are formed from the intersection between the transversal and the parallel lines. The intersection that occurred here formed some relationships between the angles. As you can see, we have three types of relationships. We have the alternate angles. We have the corresponding angles. And we have the same side interior angles. The alternate angles, you can see it, or you can locate it by looking for the letter Z in the drawing. It can be written in the proper form of a Z, or it can be written in the opposite side or in the opposite form of the Z. The corresponding angles, you can look for the letter F in the drawing or the opposite of the F. In the same side interior, you can look for a letter U or the opposite of the letter U that looks to the other side. And as we said before, the alternate angles, they can be interior or exterior. Interior like this, one of them on the left hand side of the transversal and the other one is on the right hand side. This is alternate angles and these two angles are interior. They can be exterior like this. If we pull the line of the transversal, make it longer here and there, this part and this part, these two parts are alternate exterior angles. The corresponding angles, they can be inside the interior angle and one of them on the outside, the other one like this. It can look like this on the other side. And the same side interior, these two angles are on the same side and there's some equals 180 degrees. Okay, so from this drawing in front of us, I can locate the alternate, I can locate the corresponding angles and the same side interior angles. So I'm going to give you some examples. The alternate angles are just like 3 and 6. Or angle 4 and 5. These two are alternate interior angles. If I'm going to talk about the alternate exterior, if you look at the Z again, just like this. So I'm looking at the upper part of the Z and the lower part of the Z, so angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. And on the other side, we have angle 2 and angle 7. if we're looking for corresponding angles, so we're looking for the F, for the letter F. So in the letter F, I can look for this part. So there you go. We have the letter F like this. So we have this part and the other one down here. So angles 3 and 4 and 7. These two are corresponding angles. And on the other side, on the upper side, we have angle 1 and angle 5, or we can have angles 4 and 8, angles 4 and 8, or angles 2 and 6, or angle 2 and angle 6. In the same side interior we have angles 3 and 5, 3 and 5. These two angles equals 180 degrees. So if I said angle 3 plus angle 5 equals 180 degrees. Angle 3, this is not the measure of the angle, and angle 5, this is not the measure of the angle. فمحدش يجي يقول لي angle 3 plus angle 5 equals 8. لا. Angle 3, I'm talking about it. يعني 3, this is, I'm referring to the angle. I'm not telling that this is the measure of the angle. And angle 5, I'm referring to angle 5. I'm not talking about the measure of the angle. So this angle doesn't measure 3 degrees, and this angle doesn't measure 5 degrees. I'm going to show you some of them in the following examples. طيب تعالوا بقى ما نشتغل على الرسم بتاعنا. احنا قلنا برضو الكلام ده قبل كده، لكن احنا كل الفكرة ان احنا عايزين نعمل عليها شوية application. I'm going to draw you a model وهنبتدي نطلع منه الانجلز corresponding زي ما هيبقى موجود عندنا in the questions. For example, here we have two lines, two parallel lines, and here we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. هيجي يقول لي ثلاث حاجات. هيجي يقول لي find alternate interior or exterior angles, find corresponding angles, and find same side interior angles. Our job is to locate them and name the angles. هي دي أهم حاجة إن احنا نعرف نعمل naming للangles. So if I have the first questions, find alternate interior angles. The interior part is this part, هو ده الانتيريور اللي عندي, so I need to look inside it. And when I said interior, معناها I'm looking for the letter Z, as we said before. So this part and that part, these are the parts, or these are the angles that we are looking for. So I'm going to say that is the Z. So I'm going to talk about this part and that part. So I'm going to name this angle and I'm going to name this angle. These two angles are equally measured because they are alternate interior angles. So I'm going to say angle ACD, ACD, and angle CDE, and angle CDE. These two angles are alternate interior angles. طيب ممكن يقول لي بعد كده find corresponding angles. We said that the corresponding angles, find corresponding angles. The corresponding angles, we are looking for the letter F زي ما قلنا قبل كده برضو. These two angles are on the same side of the transversal. So I'm going to look for either on the right hand side or the left hand side of the transversal. Let's talk about, or let's look for the left hand side of the transversal. I have here this angle as well, and I have this angle over here, So these two angles, they have the same measure because they are corresponding angles. So I'm gonna say that angle ACD and angle BDG are corresponding angles, which means that these two angles are equally measured, but these two angles are corresponding, they are not alternate. Corresponding means that they have the same measure and they are on the same side of the transversal, but one of them is an interior angle between the lines, between the parallel lines, and one of them is an exterior outside the parallel lines. ثالث واحدة هي find same side interior angles. Same side interior angles, this means that I'm going to look for two angles that are on the same side of the transversal, either on the left hand side or on the right hand side. وهبتدي اسميهم برضه هما الاثنين، بس هما الاثنين بيبقوا موجودين قصاد بعض والاثنين بيبقوا interior angles مع بعض. So this angle and this angle, these two are interior angles, same side interior angles, which means that their sum equals 180 degrees. So I'm going to say that angle ACD plus angle BDC equals 180 degrees. ده كان هو الشكل الاولاني من الاكزامبلز اللي موجوده عندنا، هو ان احنا نعمل finding او naming للانجلز اللي بتبقى موجوده according للريليشنشيبس. النوع الثاني من الانجلز او النوع الثاني من الاسئله هو ان هو بيبقى عايز يجيب الميجر اوف ذا unknown angle، وده هو اللي احنا هنكتبه دلوقتي او هنشتغل عليه دلوقتي. Just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna draw these two lines together. Here we have these two parallel lines, and this is a transversal. وعندنا هنا A, B, C, D. This one is E, F, G, and H. This angle measures 4x, and this is an unknown value. And this angle equals 6x. والquestion ده موجود عندنا in page number, just a second, question ده موجود in page number 354 in your book. طيب الكويستشن ده عايز ثلاث حاجات، عايز الميجر انجل بتاع انجل جي دي اي، وعايز الميجر بتاع find measure angle GDE and measure angle BFE, BEF, and measure angle CDG. طيب first of all هو عايز measure angle GDE. This is the angle GDE. و GDE عندي موجودة equals 4x, but 4x isn't the real value, isn't the actual value. طيب أمال إيه ال actual value بتاعتها؟ To find out what's the measure or what's the value of angle GDE, I need first to tell what is the value of x. عشان أعرف أحل السؤال دوت لازم أجيب ال value of x. طيب يبقى أول حاجة عندي أنا لازم يبقى عندي relation between this angle and that angle عشان أعرف هو كل واحدة فيهم ال value بتاعت ال x بكام. أسهل حاجة عندي is to put these two angles together. طيب this angle I need to find or I need to tell what is the value of this part. Angle DEH equals what? This angle equals 6x as well. طب عرفت منين؟ Because these two angles أخدناها زمان قوي في grade 7 that these two angles are vertical angles، وما دام هما vertical angles يبقى both of them they have the same measure. طيب خلاص This part equals 6x, this part equals 4x. If you can look, you will see that this part forms the shape of a letter U. يبقى angle GDE plus angle DEH equals 180 degrees. طيب GDE اللي هي 4x plus 6x equals 180 degrees. So 10x equals 180 degrees. So x equals 180 divided by 10. So x equals 18. طيب x equals 18, this is the value of the unknown part. يبقى أنا لو عايز أجيب angle GDE, I'm going to tell that it equals, it measures 4x, which means that we're going to multiply 4 by 18. As you can see here, we're going to multiply them. 18 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. 2 and carry up 3. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 equals 7. So this angle equals 72 degrees. Angle BEF is 6x, as you can see here. So we're going to multiply it as well. So we're going to say 6 times 18, which would give us, تعالوا برضه ما نعملها calculating. So we're going to calculate it here. 18 multiplied by 6. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 and carry a 4. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 4 is 10. So it would be 108 degrees. And angle CDG is the opposite part of this angle. of angle GDE هي الجزء اللي موجود الناحية التانية. ولو خدنا بالنا هنلاقي ان الاثنين ماشيين على نفس الستريت لاين. الحتة دي 4x يبقى الحتة دي اللي هي الباقي. الباقي اللي هو كام؟ Let's say that this one is 72 degrees. So this one would be 180 minus 72, which is 108 degrees. احنا كده خلصنا. اتمنى اكون ساعدتكم في حاجه، واي حد عنده اي اسئله انا مستني الاسئله بتاعتكم اونلاين. انا هبقى موجود من اول الساعه بتاعتنا لحد اخرها. Waiting for your questions. Please watch the videos carefully and thank you so much.